I'm Urza47, and this is Urza Masters Magic. I'm going to become a wizard, and I'm going to conquer the universe in Master of Magic, as popularly requested. I think, one of the best strategy games ever made. It's certainly Simtex's magnum opus. Although, one could argue that Master of Orion is actually that, but I don't know. They're both very seminal games that are very playable today as well. So let's get right into it. We're going to pick new game. So by the way, let me cancel real quick here. If I click load game here, you can see that I'm actually running the unofficial 1.5 patch that everyone who is thinking about playing Master of Magic should do as well. And you can just Google it. It's very easy to find. I have not played this game in quite a long time. Let's see. 6 or 7 years at least. Which, considering the game is like 25 years old at this point, not that bad. Normal difficulty is fine. I could go hard, extreme, or impossible, but that will be for another day. Land size, tiny, small, fair, large, huge. We'll go for the fair size. And magic. So the patch actually increases the options on this. Normally 1.5x is as high as it goes, but the patch lets you pick 2 or 2.5 times normal. And I did a random setup, and it's told me to use 1.0, which is just fine for me. And you can pick any of these pre-selected wizards. There's quite a few of them here. But I am going to go with the custom option, because custom is fun. Who doesn't like... you actually get to make all the picks yourself, and I will show you exactly how that works in just a second. So yeah, you still have to pick which picture you want, and because I'm picking predominantly spell books belonging to this guy's colors, I'm going to go with Oberic. Now, you can choose, you get 11 picks, and you can choose any combination of books in these different spell schools. And the more books, and I just arbitrarily clicked on some here, the more books you choose in a given color, the more spells of that color that you're going to be able to research over the course of the game. And in particular, also the rarer the spells that you're going to be able to get. You can also forfeit some of those spellbook picks, in favor of taking some of these what are called retorts, which are basically special abilities. So I did a random setup wizard, because random is fun, and I got a very eclectic mix. I don't think I've ever played a tricolor wizard before, but that is about what we are about to do. So we're going to take 3 nature books, 3 chaos books, and 2 sorcery books. Okay? And in addition to that, with our 3 remaining picks, we're going to take Node Mastery, which doubles the magical power I get from all nodes, and also I am free to cast whatever spells I want when I go to a node. Normally they have a chance of being dispelled if they don't match the color of the node. But I have Node Mastery, that doesn't apply to me. I can use all the spells I want. I'm also going to take Sage Master, which gives me a bonus of 25% to all spell research. And finally, Rune Master, which, first of all, makes it easier for me to dispel magic. So all the power of all of my dispel magic spells are doubled, which is particularly useful if I have blue books, because they have extra powerful dispel magic spells, and Rune Master will make them even more powerful still. In addition, arcane spells have a 25% bonus to research and a 25% reduction in casting cost. Arcane spells, by the way, are sort of generic utility spells that everyone will be able to research and cast. So those are things like your spell of mastery, which you need to win the game, or your thing to move the summoning circle around, or your thing to summon heroes that you can hire. Those are all generic and anyone can cast those. But I get a discount on them because I have Rune Master. So 3 books in Chaos and Nature and 2 in Mastery. If you've played Magic the Gathering, what these colors imply is pretty obvious. Red spells have a lot of direct damage. Green spells have a lot of... I wouldn't say healing. They have a lot of... this being a Civlet type game, you can like change the terrain. You get better scouting. A lot of summon spells are in green as well. And sorcery has a lot of meta magic type spells. Better Dispel Magic is there. There's some illusory stuff you can do. And referring to the manual here, which you're not going to be able to see, but I will just tell you, there's a table here in the manual that tells you how many spells you get at each spell rank. So at rank 3, I'm going to get 6 common spells, 3 uncommon spells, 2 rare spells, and 1 very rare spell. So that's each of red and green, I'm going to get that. And in blue, which I have 2 books, I'm going to get 5 common spells, 2 uncommon spells, and 1 rare spell. Now, there are 10 spells of each rarity per color. So there's like 200 spells in the game in these colors, plus a few arcane spells as well. So there's a crap ton of spells in this game, and you're not going to be able to ever learn all of them. So we're going to have generally when you choose more colors, you're going to get more common spells and fewer rare spells. But, I mean, that's okay. I've never done a tricolor wizard. I'm curious to see how it goes out. You also have the opportunity to pick some of the spells the specific spells that you start the game with. So I can choose any 2 of the 10 common red spells, and they're all listed here for me. Eldritch Weapon's a pretty good spell. That's a thing you can enchant one of your units with, and it makes their weapons more powerful. And it can effectively hit creatures with immunity. Okay, so it makes them armor piercing and pierces weapon immunity. Firebolt's a pretty very straightforward direct damage spell. Just shoots a bunch of flames at somebody. Which I guess is okay. There's a bunch of other stuff here. Desecrate a land square. Summon fire elementals. Destroy somebody's weapons. That seems pretty good. 1 resistance roll. If it's unsuccessful, all of their stuff gets... Yeah, all sorts of stuff here. But we'll go with Eldritch Weapon and Firebolt. That seems okay to me. I'm curious what Disrupt does. Oh, that just destroys walls. That's good if you're sieging a city, I suppose. Okay, and for our nature spells, I get to pick 2 of those. Sprites and Water Walking is what it wants, is the default. Not a huge fan of water walking. I mean, if you want to cross water, you can build ships to do it, so... Giant Strength seems useful. +1 to each figure's melee attack strength. That's quite good, especially early in the game when you have... each unit actually has a number of figures in it, and Giant Strength will buff each figure in the unit. And early game units have a lot of figures rather than late game units, which tend to have fewer. And sprites are just a thing that I can summon. Small flying forest creatures that can hurl tiny magic attacks over long distances. And Stone Skin is a defense buff. Warbears are just a beefy unit. Sure, we'll go with Giant Strength and sprites. That's fine. And Dispel Magic True. I guess. I mean, I did take the thing that makes Dispel Magic so much better, so I feel like I have to take the really special Dispel Magic True. The regular Dispel Magic is an arcane spell, so everyone can get it, but if you're in Sorcery, you can get Dispel Magic True, which is triple strength Dispel Magic. So, with this thing, I can basically dispel pretty much anything I want. And for that reason, we're going to go ahead and take it. And you also get to choose which race you want to begin with. This is the race that's going to inhabit your capital at the beginning of the game. And I have randomly selected Highmen. They can't build fantastic stables because, I don't know, they just can't. What do Highmen do, I wonder? That is a good question. They have paladins, pikemen, and warships as their race-specific units. So, yeah, Highmen Paladins seems pretty good. They don't have any cool racial special abilities, however. They're a pretty vanilla race, which I guess is fine. And what color do I want? We'll go with red. That's fine. Generating the map. This takes a few moments, especially after the patch. The unofficial patch actually fixed a few things with the map generation. It's significantly less broken than it was in the past. Okay, Exeter. Yeah, that's a fine capital city. So here we have Exeter, our hamlet, with 4,000 people in it. And they're all producing food, which is not really what we want. And we want to build initially a granary, because granaries give you more food and more population. That's really important early. We could also build spearmen, swordsmen, engineers, and settlers, but granaries are what we want. We also have our 2 initial units in here. We have a unit of swordsmen and a unit of spearmen. And you can see all of their stats listed here. I'll very quickly go over what all of these do. Melee, each figure of which you can see the swordsman, there's actually 6 people standing here. That means that there are 6 little individual mini units, if you will, inside this unit. And each of them is going to get 3 melee dice, if you will, when you make an attack. So there's going to be a total, if this unit is at full strength, a total of 18 rolls. By default, each attack roll has a 30% chance of converting into a hit against whatever they're attacking. And armor is then used to potentially deflect some of the hits. The victim of this attack is going to roll their armor dice, and each of those has a 30% chance of negating one of the hits that was scored. Resist here, this is the percentage chance in multiples of 10 of this unit resisting some kind of spell. So my swordsmen have a 40% chance of resisting some kind of hostile enchantment. And hits is just how many hit points it has. My swordsmen only have 1 hit point each, so they're pretty squishy. They're going to die really quickly if I'm not very careful. And range applies if they have some kind of range attack. It's basically the same. It's attack dice, but they don't have any ranged attacks, and neither do my spearmen, who only have 1 die, but there are 8 of them, so they've got that going for them. Excuse me, they've got that going for them. The main advantage of spearmen, though, is that they don't have any gold upkeep. The spearmen only require 1 food here that I have to pay every turn to keep them. The swordsmen require a gold every turn. Okay, down here we can also see that the swordsmen have a special ability of a large shield that adds +2 attack against all ranged attacks. And this is just their experience level. When I get to 20, they will become regulars and they'll get some combat bonuses. Every time they gain an experience level, their stats go up. And they get experience points by participating in combat. You also get 1 per turn just sitting around, as presumably you're like training or something. So anyway, yeah, granary's fine. We're going to want to go exploring with one of our units, I suppose the swordsman, and we'll leave the spearmen behind. And we'll take a look at our vicinity here. We got some wild game down here. That makes me get a little bit of extra food. So this is the surveyor, by the way. When you mouse over certain things, it explains what the terrain is and what your city effects are going to be if you put a city there. So the maximum population of my city is going to be 25, and I have a 28% production bonus and a 12% gold bonus. And I think if I click here, this tells me where I'm getting my food. So I have 2 farmers right now, and they're generating 2 food apiece, and my wild game is giving me 2 more food. So you can actually click here, and you can make more of your guys farmers versus workers. Oh, Oh yeah, that's actually natural. Yeah, farmers will give you 2 food and half a production each, and the workers will give you 2 production each. And rebels, if you have any of them, they don't produce anything. They're kind of bad. And my workers and farmers in terrain are giving me some production. That's my tax revenues and my magical power, which I'm getting all from my fortress, which is totaling 8, which, incidentally, the amount of magical power your fortress generates is equal to the number of spell books you took. I took 8 books, so my fortress is generating 8 of the magical power per turn. So let's select our swordsman here and go exploring. Very slowly, and you can just stay in the town. First thing we're going to want to do is check our tax collector and increase our tax rates. Now, we do have a rebel if we do that. What happens if we increase it to 1.5? Can we get... If we leave a garrison, garrisons will help reduce unrest, no? Maybe I want to do it anyway. 45% unrest. So I'm neutral on food. So it's 14 turns for a granary at this point. If I turn the taxes back down to 1, that's costing me 2 gold per turn. But I'm going to get the granary a lot faster. So, yeah, well, we'll leave the tax rate where it is. These numbers here, by the way, are just how much stuff you're getting per turn. So I'm getting 1 gold per turn, 0 food, and 3 mana. As far as research, we're going to turn that off. And this is where you allocate your power base. I'm going to allocate it equally to mana and skill. Casting skill, which right now is 16 for me. It's twice the number of books I took. That is how many magic points worth of spells you can cast every turn and every combat. So I can illustrate this by pulling up my spell book here. Now, if I want to summon some sprites, it's going to cost me 100 magic points. Well, this is kind of a bad example, but it would... The number of symbols here is going to be how many turns it's going to take to actually cast the spell. Right now, it's a lot more than you'd expect because I don't have any mana. My limiting factor right now is how much mana I actually have. So actually, I might want to... Let's increase this. Eight magic points per turn. Because right now I have none. Yeah, and at this point, since Magic Spirit is 23, which is, by the way, a discount from 30 because of the retorts I took. We'll go ahead and start casting that now. You'll see it's highlighted here to indicate that I'm currently casting it. And it'll be done in 3 turns because 3 turns is when it's going to take me to generate the mana that I need. And I am creating 8 mana per turn. And I have to choose a spell to research. So, detect the spell magic. Yeah, who the hell wants that when I have the better version already? Now, these all say 9.99 turns because I've actually not put any points into research at all right now. So I'm not actually doing any research. But these are ordered by what their research cost is. And these are all the spells that are eventually going to be in my spellbook. So these are some of these 6 common spells of each of red and green and some number of blue. 4, I think. 4 or 5, something like that I'm going to be able to get. So corruption, that's not useful yet. Web creates a sticky 12-point web over a target unit, and they cannot move until they destroy the web. And they prevent flying units from flying. I guess that's okay. Each figure any non-flying unit that attempts to pass stuff is a 5-strength magical fire attack. So that's pretty cool if I think I'm going to be attacked. Counter magic. All enemy spells cast in combat must resist being dispelled while the spell is in effect. So I'm glad to see this is in my spellbook, because I think this also gets a bonus from Rune Mastery. Warp creature attempts to mutilate all creatures within a target unit. They suffer a penalty of 1 to their resource, to their resistance. And they suffer one of the following degenerative changes: half strength attacks, half strength defense, or no magic resistance. Ooh. And fire elementals. Oh, those are not something you can cast over land. That's something you only cast in combat. Okay. That's right. Well, for right now, I think we'll go with Wall of Fire. And we're going to continue our exploration. Ooh, right here we have a lair. And it's guarded by many stone giants, which are obviously those are really nasty things. I don't want to go in there. When you go into one of these things, which are like, if you've played Civ, these are basically goody huts, except they are guarded, usually, by really nasty stuff. Many stone giants are what we have here, so we're going to need like a huge army to go in there, and we don't have that currently. We've summoned our magic spirit. Now, what does magic spirits actually do? First of all, it's a combat unit, which is not as great as these stats seem to imply, because there's only one of them. The real reason you have magic spirits are twofold. First, because that's how you collect magic nodes, which give you magical power, which we're really, really going to want because we have node mastery. I mean, everyone wants them, but we especially want them. And secondly, because they make great scouts, because they have good movement. Swimming? I thought they had flying. Okay, sure. Maybe they only have... Yeah, they should have flying. Why does it imply that they don't? I'm slightly confused now. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this unit actually has flying, and I'm not sure why it says swimming here, but... Okay. That's kind of confusing. Oh, do I get more? Oh, no, I don't. Okay, yeah. Wait. So my swordsman, I guess we'll go over here. Oh, we got a blue node, a sorcery node. And we'll see what's in there in just a moment. Oh, let's... Yeah, we'll keep it all in mana until we generate enough mana. There's no point increasing my skill if I don't have any mana to actually do any spell casting. And Granary's going to be coming up soon. So let's see, what do we have in here? A few Phantom Warriors. Okay, that's... We're not going to go in there. Ooh, we have a temple over there. Phantom Warriors are not the worst things in the world. They're pretty doable. The problem, though, is that when you go into a node, all nodes always have magical creatures there, and everything of the color that matches the node. So in the blue node, all the blue creatures there are going to get a substantial bonus, and that's really good, especially for Phantom Warriors. And this road here implies, yes, a neutral city. And who's in this neutral city? Oh, we got some gnolls here in this city, so we'll have to go over there and conquer it. They grow slowly and cannot build a bunch of things. But presumably they have really good units. 3 units of swordsmen. So yeah, we're definitely going to want to raise an army. Well, of course, you always raise armies in this game. And we'll head over this way. And this is a hamlet of Krong. Yeah, and they have 3 halberdiers. And these are orcs. Okay. Yet another different race. 3 different races we've got so far, which I guess is pretty good. Diversity is generally a good thing. A cave. We'll check out the cave. A great drake. Yeah, we don't want any part of that. That's no good. No bueno. Poke around over here. Okay, the fact that there's no roads going off in this direction suggests that there's not another city to be found. Now that we have some mana, I'm more comfortable putting more of our points into skill. And we've got our granary, and I've got my little imp to notify me of this new granary that we've built. Okay, great, great, great. What do we want to build now? More military units? Probably a marketplace. Either that or a shrine. Reduces... Mainly because it does reduce the unrest level, which is nice. If I want to raise taxes, that would be the way to do that. But the marketplace also does... we'll go with a shrine for now. Although, or do I want to build a unit? How long would it take to build some... Well, spearmen are dumb. I probably really want swordsmen instead, because they do cost money upkeep, but they're so much better. Like, spearmen by themselves can't really do much. And I can get some spearmen in 4 turns. Or some swordsmen in 4 turns. Although that's not going to be enough to... Yeah, the problem is that amount of swordsmen isn't really enough to get... I would need like 5 or 6 swordsman units to really have a shot at taking one of those cities, so... For now, we'll just build a marketplace. That's fine. And we will just wander over that direction. Oh, why is my... Oh, because I have a granary, now I have not as much as a need for farmers, because I'm getting free food out of the granary. I don't need to have as many farmers, so I can put more onto production. Okay, we've found the edge of the continent, it looks like. Exeter is grown, very good. Now to a village, and now there is some unrest. Ugh. Really? I'm not even taxing you very hard. Why are you unhappy? I don't get it. Oh my god. Okay, well, if you're going to be unhappy, I might as well tax you more. So that gives us 6... Yeah, so 213 is what we have now. If we... Right, and this is giving us 6 production. This is giving us only 3. Yeah, we can't afford to raise the taxes. Oh, well. And we got a crap ton of stuff over here. We've got a dungeon, a keep, some iron ore, which is very good. And looking here, there's a bunch of... This would be a good place for a city. 29% production bonus, 20% gold bonus. Okay. Anyway, let's take our magic spirit and go poking around. Nothing yet. Oh, we got another Another town here. Some highmen. So it's good to find more of your own race in this because they won't mind if they're conquered by other highmen. If you conquer foreign races, they will get unhappy because they tend not to get along with other races. And there's actually a huge detailed chart about how much each race dislikes each other race. It's actually pretty cool. And it looks relatively lightly defended. 2 swordsmen and a spearman. So that's definitely going to be an early priority for our conquest. I think if we send 2 or 3 units there, plus if we check out our apprentice here, we can see what spells we've got. We've got our fire bolts, which is not so great against minifigure units. Eldritch Weapon, so we can cast this once. And this reduces the chance for successful defenses. Giant Strength looks like the better bet. +1 to each figure's melee attack strength. And it's cheap enough for me to be able to cast it on. Because 8 if I casted it during combat. So, and my skill is 16, so I can actually cast it twice. And all these scribbled out ones are the spells I haven't actually researched yet. So you can look here and see vaguely how much of each spell type you're going to get. So we're going to get a bunch of, so I have like 3 full pages of summoning. Magic Spear, we've got our sprites. 100 mana. Spell Magic, true. That's always useful. Well, except it's more useful later in the game because obviously there's nothing for me to dispel yet, so it's not that useful now. Unit spells. Wow. 2.5 pages of unit spells. Only 3 combat spells, which is a little surprising because I have 3 red spell books. I would have expected to see a few more combat spells. Okay. Anyway, so this guy over here. Oh, that's right. We need to check out this many fire elementals. No, we're not going to do that. Oh, I have 100 gold, and I can possibly hire this sage for 100 gold. And he is a spellcaster, and he has his own spells. Dispel Magic True, which is not that useful because I have it myself. Counter Magic. Sage 3 RP. So if he's in the same, oh, not even if he's in the same city as me. If he just gives me 3 spell research per experience per turn, just for having him. That's pretty cool. And he's a spellcaster, so he can cast his own spells. He can also cast my spells. Without the cost of mana points drawn from the wizard's mana reserve. You must still provide the required mana to support the skill. Yeah, I think I want to hire him. Why bloody hell not? Now, the problem, though, is that I have not a whole lot of money. Sprites. See, yeah, you have like really crappy melee attack, but your range is good. You have these ranged magical attacks. And in 20 turns, you're actually going to get the next level automatically, and that'll increase your stats even further, which is pretty good. Pretty cool. Okay, well, we're going to put a cut in here. Thank you all for watching. Join me next time when we actually start doing more interesting stuff than just exploring the map. And I know I'm going to have to deal with this gold deficit here. I'm losing a gold per turn, and I only have 8, so clearly something's going to have to change or I'm going to be facing bankruptcy. And bankruptcy is going to happen before I finish this marketplace, sadly. So we'll have to figure that out. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.